Derrick Lewis versus Tallision Teixiera takes place this weekend. It's time to go through the card, give my predictions, talk about these fights. I got a lot to get to today, both for YouTube and, just other stuff I had to do around my house. So I don't got much time, meaning we're jumping right into it. For Team Klein versus Melissa Martinez, you look at Klein. She just beat Victoria Dudikova, which is a good win to have. She lost her debut to Jasmine Javicius, but Jasmine is on a really good run herself. Then in CFFC, she beat Andressa Romero, had a grappling match, and Sarikova, she TKO'd in the third round. Melissa Martinez, you look at her, she just beat Alice Ardoin last year in October, lost to Elise Reed, won a split decision at Combat 51 to win that belt, and then to a second round TKO and a first round TKO. When I look at this fight, it really comes down to one thing. And it's a woman's fight, so I'm not going to spend much time on it. Grappling. I think that Fatima will just out grapple her. She has good grappling. Melissa Martinez, I'm not too sure how her takedown defense, how her grappling defense is. So I'm going to go with Fatima Klein. Um, you try and make a better prediction on women's MMA. We move on to Mitch Ramirez versus Mike Davis. Now, this is a fight I'm really interested in. Mitch Ramirez just got TKO'd by Thiago Moises, a veteran of the UFC, really good. I forgot who he fought last. I know he fought recently. Damn it, I can't think of it. But before that, round one TKO over Aaron Tavares at LFA. He got KO'd by Carlos Prates on the Contender Series in 2023. But again, that loss is aging well. Carlos Prates just fought Ian Gary, went on a wicked run. We'll have to see who he fights next. But before that, a round 3 TKO over Jeremy Holloway and a first round KO over first on TKO over Ayada Maj. Not even trying to say that name. Holy. Then we move on to Mike Davis. He lost to Viras Saham in his last fight in February by unanimous decision. Before that, though, won his 4 fights, got a second round arm triangle over Natan Levi. Beat Vasquez Borshak, which is a notable name. Beat Mason Jones, got a performance bonus for it. And then he also beat Thomas Gifford by a third round Red Cross. Ah, I'm gonna go with Mike Davis here. I think he's talented, well rounded. The thing that he is missing the most is activity. I feel like if he was more active, if he had 2 to 3 fights a year, we could really see him improve in that octagon and move up because he has good striking. He has good grappling, good in transitions. Just again, the activity, but I see him getting it done by a decision, probably 29-28. Just, mixing up the striking, shooting when he needs to, all that stuff, right? So, Mike Davis. We move on to a very interesting fight, and now I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Kennedy Nezajakua versus Walter Walker. Let's go to Walter Walker first. KO Dontel Mays and Junior Toffer in the first round back to back in his last 2 fights. Lost his UFC debut to Lucas Brzezinski by unanimous decision, but before that, 2 more TKOs, one in Canadian read that MMA series and Titan FC. So I said this a while ago, and I know that a lot of people in the MMA community are saying this. I think it's a really good idea for light heavyweights that are struggling at light heavyweight to move up, gain a couple pounds, and that's exactly what Kennedy did. And I feel like at heavyweight, this guy is a different fighter. First round knockouts, all the glamour. Um, but yeah, he yeah, I'm gonna go first round knockout. I think he has good takedown defense, good striking. I feel like 205 is the weight class for him, and Walker needs to be tested. He hasn't had a tough opponent in the UFC yet, and I feel that's exactly what Kennedy is. And I honestly see him catching Walker in an exchange in the middle of the round, dropping him, pouncing on him, finishing the fight. And then we have to talk about Kennedy, being a problem in the heavyweight division. Now, he's not fighting any names of note. He's still fighting prospects. But I do like what he offers in the heavyweight division. He brings the lighter man skill into heavyweight, which you look at heavyweight right now. We need names. We need talent. Especially if Tom Aspinall is getting ready to fight and defend his now undisputed belt. I feel like Kennedy could be one of those guys that if they make it to the top, I think Tom runs, not Tom, yeah, Tom runs through him. But again, I feel like he can create some difficulties for Tom and for the rest of the division if he can improve, if he can continue to do the work that he's doing. But yeah, Lauren Murphy returning once again against Eduardo Mora. I remember when this fight got announced a few weeks ago. I was a bit surprised about Lauren Murphy coming back, I believe. She's, what, 41, 42, around there. But she lost her last fight to Jessica Andrade by unanimous decision way back at UFC 283. But she beat Misha Tate before that. Lost to Valentina Shevchenko by around 4 ground and pound. Um, Joanne Wood, Willa Sharkova. She was on a good run before those two fights. You look at Eduardo Mora, though, beat Veronica Hardy, lost a very close split decision to Denise Gomez. Had a round two TKO over Ruiz, submitted Silva, and KO'd Claudia Alves. Well, submitted Silva on the Contender Series, I should say. Um, yeah, I'm going to Eduardo Mora here. It's mainly Murphy's age, her inactivity. You know, she did have a good run there, but we know what we're getting from Murphy. And she dominated Veronica Hardy, which is a really good win to have. A lot of people have beat Veronica Hardy, but to do what she did to Hardy, dominate her the entire fight, it was really impressive. Really impressive, but I see her getting it done by decision. I just think she'll be faster, quicker, sharp on the feet, and she's been fighting right. So Eduardo Mora, I think 29-28. I could see a 30-27, but I feel like Murphy, with the veteran instincts, can stick around maybe the first or second, but I feel like Mora will confidently win the third and move on as, a decent up and comer in this division. We then move on to another really fun fight. I know I'm saying this with a lot of these fights, But this one is good. Jake Matthews taking on Chidi Njokuani. Jake Matthews, he's been in the UFC for years. Njokuani has been in the UFC for years. But Matthews is on a two-fight win streak, beating Francisco Prado and Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe is a really good win to have. Lost to Michael Morales, who's undefeated. Just had an incredible performance against who did he fight again? Was that not Magny? Was it Magny? I can't remember. But yeah, lost to him, beat Darius Flowers, and then lost to Matthew Selmsberger by unanimous decision way back in 2022. Njokuani, though, three-fight win streak, KO'd Elijah Zaleski, beat Derrick Gooden, beat Reese McKeever with decision, got KO'd by Oliver Zajac, and lost the decision to Albert Ryu. But again, I'm not gonna knock him for the Oliver Zajac loss. I really do like Oliver Zajac. It's just a matter of can you actually put it together and make it to the top. But I feel like this will be a competitive fight. The difference maker is I think Njokuani is a better striker. I think they're both at the same level everywhere else. The Chitty has a bit more power. I like his combinations better. And, both these guys have a lot of experience in the UFC. There's two veterans of the company going at one another. And these tend to be the best fights on these cards, but I see him getting it done by decision. We move on to Max Griffin versus Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis making a move down to 170, and I really like this move down to 170. You look at Max Griffin first, just got submitted by Chiesa, beat Jeremiah Walls, lost Michael Moraes, beat Tim Means, and um, lost to Neil Magny. But again, three split decisions. One of the judges thought that they won. You look at Chris Curtis, he just got knocked out by Roman Kopelev. Lost to Brendan Allen by split decision. Beat Mark Andre Berry by split decision. Had a no contest against Nasruddin Imavov. I forgot what happened in that fight. Kelvin Gastelum beat by unanimous, beat him by unanimous decision. I feel like a move down to 170 is perfect for Chris Curtis. He is a smaller guy, and I feel like he'll be built up better in 185. He beat what's his name, Joaquin Buckley, who also dropped down to 170 from 185, and I see him getting it done here. He has heavier hands, great takedown defense, and I think 170 might be his place in the UFC. I don't know if he can go on a title run. I don't know if he can beat the top contenders, but I feel like he can put together some decent wins in 170. Have a lot of big names, a lot of big fights for him that he can get into. I really like this move, and I think he'll win his move down to 170. But I feel like we need to take things slow with him. I don't want to see Chris Curtis win one fight at 170 and then go up and fight, I don't know, Leon Edwards or whoever it is. Because the UFC has done a lot of that. They've done a lot of weird matchmaking where it's, hey, you're the top ranked guy. Why don't you fight the number 14th contender? Yeah, man, it is a tough fight, tough fight. Which it is, but again, like, marketing wise, why are you putting one of your best fighters in there with the guy who hasn't established himself? But again, I'm not the UFC, I don't run things. But yeah, Chris Curtis decision. Junior Taffa versus Tuco Tacos. Um, Shout out to Coach Salamanca. Junior Toffer, brother of what's Benny's name? The other Toffer. Shit. Whatever. He beat Sean Shelp by a second round knockout in his last fight. Um, got submitted by Walter Walker in the first round. Got KO'd by Marcos Rogiero de Lima. KO'd Parker Porter. And lost to Muhammad Usman. But the thing is, as I look at these names, they're not really top heavyweights. They are good, but they're not top heavyweights. Tacos, he lost to Navarro Sterling in his last fight. Lost to Omar Sy by Rene Kachok in his UFC debut. Came in on 2 first round TKOs and a unanimous decision. Um, hmm. Yeah. This is such an interesting fight because they both had the same issues, I feel. Um, but I'm gonna go Tafa. Turcos can't wrestle at all, and I feel like that's the bread and butter to beat a Tafa is getting them down. But really, it's anyone's guess. I'm gonna go with the second round TKO, catching him against the fence. But again, it's so up in the air. And this is what the heavyweight division is, right? But we'll see if Junior Toffee can get it done. Vitor Petrino versus Austin Wayne. Man, Vitor Petrino, man. He had a wicked start to his UFC career, but is now on a 2-fight losing streak. Got submitted by Anthony Smith in the first round. Anthony Smith has a lot of submissions, a lot of wins, but again at that point, not a good work for an up and coming contender. And then he just got KO'd by Dustin Jacoby last year at the final pay per view. Or not pay per view, card, which was it was Buckley versus Colby, yeah. We move over to Austin Wayne, yeah. We, yeah, Victor Petrino really good on the regional scene, struggling in the UFC. Austin Wayne just got KO'd by Mario Pinto, beat Robles to Spain, which not really a win to brag about. Winata Denise knocked him out. Justin Toffer knocked him out, and they had the no contest with Toffer before that. We know Austin Wayne, former NFL player, all this stuff. He really hasn't shown me much. He is a technical fighter. He has power. But I think Vitor Petrino has more power. He is a bit of a glass tank. But I feel like there's more potential with Petrino than Wayne. The question is, though, is he legit? And I feel like if he loses this fight, there's a lot of momentum gone for a guy who came in like an absolute machine running through everybody. I think he's young though, so he has time to grow. But yeah, this is a must win for Vitor Petrino. We then move on to Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Shire. Nate Landwehr is basically the 170 Justin Gaethje. No, it's a 145. I don't know what I'm talking about. Landwehr is Justin Gaethje white. That's the best way to put it. He just got submitted by Dooku Choi got TKO'd from elbows from crucifix. KO'd Jamal Emmers with an uppercut, right hook combination. Lost to Danny Gay. Submitted Austin Wingo. Beat David Anoma. Morgan Shire. Lost to Nathaniel Wood in his last fight. KO'd Gabriel Miranda. had a split decision against Chipe Mariscal, who I really like Chipe Mariscal. Manuel Zaki, he KO'd with body kicks in the first round, and then Diego Silva, he KO'd in the third round in Cage Warriors. I love Nate Landwehr. He was one of my favorite fighters. It's just he's a dog fighter, and then there's no picture for Morgan Trader. I I literally went through this entire slide and made sure that the pictures were there. But whatever. You already saw his face back there. Nate is a dog fighter. We all know that he is coming to scrap. And Morgan Trader is great against less technical fighters. I feel like he'll be able to take whatever Nate Landwehr throws at him, find the counters when he needs them, and yeah, I feel like he'll get this done fairly easily. Mr. No Pitcher here. Let's hope my pitchers stay for the next fight. Calvin Cater versus Steve Garcia. This is I don't really need to talk much here. Calvin Cater, one hell of a fighter, in the 145 division in his prime, but on a four-fight losing streak, lost to Josh Allen by split decision, injured his knee against Arnold Allen, lost to Aljamain Sterling, and lost to Yusuf Zalal. Steve Garcia is on a absolute tear right now. First on TKO over Kyle Nelson, first on TKO over Wu Choi, second on TKO over Malcozella Costa, another second on TKO due to body shots, and he KO'd Chase Cooper. Yeah, this guy is an absolute machine right now. He looks like he's in the peak of his career. Calvin Cater's old, on a four-fight losing streak. I expect this to be Cater's last fight, and I think that Garcia will push this fight the entire time. Whether it's a first round TKO, second, or a decision, I just feel like this fight will be one pure off for Steve Garcia, bringing the fight where he wants to. Close range, long range, bringing it to the ground. I think he can do whatever he wants to Calvin Cater at this stage of his career. Then we move on to the co-main event, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim. Or Bonfim. Wonderboy. Wonderboy. Let's go to Bonfim first. So, Bonfim, 4-1 in his last five, just submitted Chaos Williams, beat Aaron Rusa, got KO'd by Nicholas Dalby, but before that, submitted Trevor Joff, submitted Munir Wazez. I feel like Wonderboy in his prime would have had a shot, but this is just a horrible matchup for him. I feel like he's close to 45 on a major losing streak, being finished by people. And Bonfim is a grappler, which is Wonderboy's kryptonite. He's constantly going to be in Wonderboy's space. He's going to be pushing him. He's going to be taking him down. And I don't see Wonderboy being able to get what he needs to get going on the feet before Gabriel Bonfim can get him down and submit him. I love Wonderboy. Really nice guy. Really good fighter in his prime. It's just Father Time was undefeated, right? And Gabriel Bonfim, he's looking good here. He's like he could be a threat in the 170 division. Do I think he makes it far? No. But I think he actually brings a lot of problems to a lot of fighters. So, yeah. Gabriel Bonfim. Then we move on to the main event. Derrick Lewis taking on Tallision Teixiera. Man, okay, we all love Derrick Lewis, right? But we know what's going on. He's 2-3. He got a KO in the third round against Nasty Commander in his last fight. A good win. Got beat by Joe Almeida, who is looking like uh, probably the biggest threat to Thomas Aspinall. I know that he got finished by Blades, but yeah. Then he KO'd Marcos Rogero de Lima with a flying knee, followed by ground strikes. And then before that, got submitted by Spivak and got ran through by Sergey Pavlovich when Sergey was on his run. Again, it's heavyweight is different, right? Heavyweight is much different. Because, one shot can end it all, right? You look at Teixeira, though. Just KO'd Justin Toffa. KO'd Arthur Lopez on the Contender Series. First on TKO, first on TKO, first on TKO. This guy is a monster. I believe he's 7 foot, 6'9", something like that. And I do think this guy has a lot of potential. I feel like he's very green though. I feel like he's very green. He needs to develop, the little tricks of the trade that you get in the UFC. But at the same time, it's like, you look at Derrick Lewis right now. You look at where he is in his career. He's fighting once a year now. Maybe he fights again, but I just think this year is too. I think it's a bad matchup for him. Ranger striker, and Lewis is very inconsistent. That is the issue where Derrick Lewis, most knockouts, this and that, funny Instagram and all that. I feel like if Derrick Lewis took his training and conditioning more serious, I feel like Derrick Lewis could have been a champion. I feel like he could have been a top contender his entire prime. But again, guy made his money. He made it to a title shot. Guy lost to DC, but it just works like this is Teixeira's time. And we need more talent in the heavyweight division. Derrick Lewis is a big name, but when it comes to talent, apart from his KO ability, you don't really see it all there, right? That's ultimately where I see Teixeira shining, if you can, where keeping him at range, landing their combinations, weathering the storm. We know that Derrick Lewis is always dangerous at any second of the fight, but again, it's just a matter of age. It's a matter of the sport hopefully getting better as time goes on, and we need more talented heavyweights. But that's it, God. Those are my predictions. And yeah, hopefully next time Google Slides doesn't fuck me over, but it does every single video I use them. So that's it, though. Let me know your picks down below. And yeah.